3 blacks and the rest white. So I'll put my black, got this set up at 0.223. So that'd be the wide part of the pot supply. And I need 18 of the white here. But I need to make 3 cuts, so there's 6 in a bundle. Getting started, this is the first row here. What I'm doing is doing 3 extra rows on the bottom, just give me room to cut out the bottom when we get there. Making the strips up, I will cut them thin, then I'll sand them down to its desired thickness. Once I do that, then I will glue. I use 4 to 6 slices per bundle, but I'll put a little bit of glue. I'll put a little bit of glue on the end and glue them together, let it dry. Then I will sand it to the bundle to the appropriate thickness here. So I'll sand both sides. Once I sand it, then I put tape on one edge like that, and then turn it over and put tape here. Once I get that done, then this is what it looks like. So in this here, there's 6 pieces of strips of wood glued together on this end. Then I added the tape. This just shows what the back side is here, just so I know which edge to cut on. I dry fitted all these now, and we're adding the glue. Got supports on each side here. Put a little glue in, rub it around, push it in, and push it down. Working on the second row now, gluing every 3rd piece. So what I have to do then is I count to 6. I 6 holes on the index wheel. Five, 6. Pinning on the 6. Then I made my little dots on here, the white and the blacks in this case, and I transfer that onto the piece of paper here. So this will be the code, is white, white, black, white, and so forth. So it's 2 blacks, 18 whites, skipping and only gluing every 3rd piece down. So because there's 60 segments per row, 20 plus then the fill in later is 40 of them. So after I glue them down after each row, I normally clamp it like this using wax paper and a couple sheets of towels here. Then I will clean it up. Decided to go 5-5 because you're doing every 3rd piece. So 1/3 of 60 is 20. So you got 10 here, 10 here. You can see the pattern is equal here. So mark the first piece, put some glue on it. I've got the next row is 4.3 inch in diameter. So I set my digital here to 4.3. It's actually half of that because of This is actually just measuring the radius, not the diameter. Four, 5, and 6. Pin on the 6th piece. And that's so these slices, each piece is about 0.11 or so, and I need it to be 0.08. So I use this to do that. Okay. I used a forcemeat bit to cut this 1.5 inch in diameter, and I cut out a little round disc there and glued in, pushed it in. And then I got one more here to put in. I want to talk about cutting here. So I normally don't like to go below a SEL, segment edge length, of 0.1 inch. And because when you go smaller than that, there's a lot of breakage and not consistent cutting sizes. So I keep it around 0.1 as my smallest. Well, the plan calls for less than that. So what I end up doing is gluing up a cylinder, making sure that it's all lined correctly, and then I will shape that cylinder to the appropriate size. Another thing I do when it reaches 0.1, another thing I've found is if I alternate fence to fence like you would normally do, when you're doing this cut here where you're cutting into the small piece of the pie, the narrow end, you don't get a consistent cut either, especially with wingy. So what I have to do is I switch this back and forth, so you're always cutting at the big part of the piece of pie, and that seems to be a lot better. The downside to that now is if you're alternating, you're changing the angle to make up with each other. But I've talked about in other videos, I put a center mark on my wedgies and put a center mark on my wedgie sled and line that up. That makes it pretty darn close to the right angle, and that seems to work. So the changes for under point one and under is will only cut on the big piece, and I don't go below 0.1. So another thing happens when I'm doing these small pieces is I have to lift it up every time, because even if you don't even glue, it seems to pull the piece with you as I'm moving it away when I'm rotating the index wheel. So I lift it up so it doesn't pull it out of alignment. I don't have a problem with that with bigger pieces, but once I get to around 0.1, it seems I need to do that. So lift it up, turn it. So right now the outside diameter is 1.9 inches. So, and I have total of 27 rows of that 1.9 inches. When I get to turning, that'll bring that 1.9 down to, I don't know, probably 1.4. We'll see when I get there. It's what looks best. So it's very critical that I maintain alignment, not just on the outside, but on the inside. Make sure that doesn't slide at all. So